and roll out. There is no condition of matrimony that will dare hinder our union. For we have come to you, freedom fighters, for you have precisely the spark of bravery and courage that we need to defend this planet from Megatron. I am Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots, and to this very endeavor, it is up to us. For if Megatron gets his hands on the Allspark, all hope will be lost. So I ask you this: are you ready to join the Autobots? Then let's roll. Nest Command, they have been waiting so patiently. Let us now send them through. I will inspect them myself. You there, you have such...
Okay, so you're excited for Mario?
Yep.
May rides dito. Ay, oo nga no, parang wala pala. Alam ko may ano dito may mission ata dito
Papa, masisira tong bago. Yung camera mini ko, nandito. Lagay natin dito. Masisira ko.
Alam ko may mission dito
Ay, matangkad. Oh my god. Mom, just to play a game.
Anong damit mo?
There we go.
Yes, and look at mommy. Let's go.
Don't know why you're being so aggressive. Go ahead, take a step towards her. You see how she's backing off? Incredible. Take one more step towards her. She's challenging you and wants to see how you'll respond. Amazing. Folks, big round of applause for our guest remaining calm in the face of a 1,000-pound carnivorous predator. Can't believe that worked. Great job. Let's proceed towards her. She's challenging you and wants to see how you'll respond. Amazing. Folks, big round of applause for our guest remaining calm in the face of a 1,000-pound carnivorous predator. Can't believe that worked. Great job. Let's proceed with caution. We can bring our next group forward for photos. I don't know how you stayed so calm. Great job. Have you worked with dinosaurs before? Have you worked with dinosaurs before? No. Your first time? Do you have siblings? That's why. Having siblings is the same thing as working with velociraptors. Your little brother? Something tells me you're the velociraptor in the family. I could tell. I could tell. That's why you didn't back down. Very good to meet you, ma'am. Enjoy the afternoon. Happy holidays. Folks, if you are just joining us and you would like to participate in our training exercise, we invite you to join our crew by entering next to the blue umbrella. We'd love to get a photo with you while you're taking pictures with Blue. By the way, sir, you're incredibly calm, and that was awesome.
Tabi.
Yung.
Video mo na tabi.
Design niya yan, design.
Hindi stable.
Okay lang yan.
So, come here. Hey. Hey. Finish that and then you drink water. Okay?
Largest and busiest production studios. That's right, everyone. You are going to be seeing some movie magic today, and some of that magic will be presented in 3D. Ooh, ah. So if you have not already grabbed a pair of those 3D glasses, go ahead and raise your hands nice and high and keep them up so that we can see you and bring a pair of those glasses to you. If you are traveling today with any small children whose feet do not quite touch the floor, now is the perfect time to move them away from the sides of the tram into the center of the row so that we can make this as safe of a ride as possible. And if you haven't already, scoot all the way over to the right-hand side so we can make room for anyone else who might want to join us on our tour this afternoon.
I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide
Tori,
and the greatest driver.
Marvin,
You're the best. I love that. Even though
Tori,
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That is right, everyone. We do have a few safety rules to go over. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the tram or have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red E-cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I will be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use the red cord above your head if you need any assistance. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or you just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated, please. No smoking of any kind during the tour. Be prepared, our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many, many water effects. You'll want to have your cameras and your cell phones out for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. Also, anytime that we go inside of a building on our tour today, I will be unable to exit the tram to retrieve any dropped items. So once we head inside, hold on tightly to all of those valuables. Finally, for your safety and the safety of those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. Now, we are traveling down our Universal timeline right now. Off to the right-hand side of the tram, you'll see a few movie posters. And these movie posters off to the right of the tram represent just a few of the thousands of movies that have been made here in our history. That's right, I said thousands. That's because we've been making movies here for over 100 years. We first opened our gates to the studio back in 1915. Now things looked a little bit different on our tour back then. It was actually a walking tour. In 1915 we were making silent movies, so the public was actually allowed to walk from set to set. We could get as close as right behind the camera to watch movies being made. Now a few years after that we invented sound in our movies, so we couldn't let the public enter an active film set, but we adapted our tour in the 1960s to have you on these trams so that you can still come into the studio and take a peek behind the curtain at how movies are made. Now today, we are going to be seeing two sections of our film lot, the front lot, and later on we'll be seeing the back lot. Now we are currently entering the front lot. This is where we house the majority of our 36 sound stages. Now the very first sound stage that we're going to be seeing off to the left of the tram is sound stage 12. It's got some scaffolding all over it. It's getting a little bit of a facelift right now because this is actually the oldest sound stage that we have here on the lot. It was built way back in 1928, so it's almost 100 years old. But that's not the only cool thing about this sound stage. It's also the very largest one that we have here. But not only is this our largest sound stage, but it's actually one of the largest sound stages anywhere in the world. This sound stage is almost 30,000 square feet, and it comes complete with its own pit so that we can film some water scenes. We've actually utilized that before. This used to be Penguin's lair in Batman Forever, and we actually filled our soundstage with a cast of live penguins and kept the soundstage refrigerated for those animal actors. Now some other sets that are called Soundstage 12 home include the Jurassic Park Visitor Center, Scarface's mansion. It's so large it was even able to house a full-size recreation of the Hindenburg blip for the disaster movie The Hindenburg. But we've got lots of other sound stages for you to see off to the left of the tram. Now these sound stages might not look like much on the outside, but these are actually some of the most popular filming locations. About 80 to 90% of all filming for any production happens just inside these doors. Now that's because sound stages offer a blank canvas that we can transform to look like any setting, real or fictional, and we can control every element inside of our sound stages. We can control the weather, we can control the time of day, we can control the location, the time period, but the most important thing that we can control is the sound. Now, like I mentioned, we are capturing sound on a film set. You want to be able to hear what your actors are saying. So someone driving by in a loud tram like this one, or someone talking loudly on their cell phone could really ruin a take. So having a soundproofed environment is crucial, and our sound stages are about 98% soundproof, which is pretty impressive. Now off to the left of the tram, we're passing by Soundstage 14. This has been the home of some very famous film sets. It was Mission Control for Apollo 13, and it was also one of the 10 sound stages that was used in the filming of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Some of our sound stages had sets like the Whoville Post Office, Mount Crumpet, the Grinch's Lair, and the entire town of Whoville was actually out in Soundstage 12. We used 2 of our sound stages just for the application of all the special effects makeups for the Who and the Grinch. Now speaking of the Grinch, you might have met him in our theme park today. If you haven't already encountered him, keep an eye out because you never know where you might find him.
Hello, friends. This is Cindy Lou Who, and I want you to help me find the Grinch. He could be here. He could be there. That Grinchy old Grinch could be hiding anywhere. Perhaps he's in the Universal Plaza by the holiday tree, counting the presents 1, 2, 3. He could be in a corner. He could be in a nook. Or maybe the Jurassic Cove is where you should look. He'll be at one of those 2 places waiting for you. So happy holidays from me, Cindy Lou Who.
Now off to the right of the tram, we're passing by Soundstage 19. This was recently the home of Oppenheimer's office in the Best Picture winning film Oppenheimer. That's actually our 11th Best Picture winner for our studio. Off to the left, you'll see a little celebrity sighting, everyone. It is Ted. He's giving you a big old cheers because he actually now has his very own TV series. It's called Ted, based on the Ted movies, and of course starring Ted. Now that was actually filmed in our sound stages and all over our back lot, and it just got renewed for a second season. So if you see any production preparation happening on the lot today, it probably is for the upcoming second season of Ted. Now we have a lot more than just sound stages here on the lot. We also have our production bungalows coming up off to the left. These bungalows used to be the dressing rooms to the stars back in the golden age of Hollywood, but today they've been transformed into production offices for some of Hollywood's best-known production companies. Illumination Entertainment works out of these bungalows. They're behind Despicable Me, as well as many other animated favorites. And down to the left, you might be able to spot a big green wicked balloon. That marks the office of Martin Platt Productions. They do musical movies like La La Land, Dear Evan Hansen, and like that balloon implies, they are the team behind the recently released adaptation of the musical Wicked.
Hey, Studio Tour. You're seeing a lot of behind-the-scenes movie-making magic today, showing you up close how filmmakers, like me, bring our dreams to the big screen. After your tour, the magic of Wicked continues at Universal Studios Hollywood, where you can experience photo ops, props, and costumes from the film, and fun bites and drinks from Shiz and Emerald City. But first, here's a look at Wicked.
Come with me to meet the wizard. I couldn't tell something. This is your moment. I'm coming.
If you think that's something to see, maybe you see this. You've got it. Wicked 2D PG.
As we turn the corner, you'll see another sound stage here. This is 26. If you look above the open door, you'll see a clue of what is currently calling this soundstage home. It's a brand new medical series called St. Dennis Medical. Now, not only do they film inside of soundstage 26 for their interior scenes, they film in our back lot, specifically at our Metropolitan sets, which you'll get your first glimpse of here off to the right. Now, St. Dennis Medical uses our Metropolitan sets for their exterior scenes, and as we turn the corner into our Brownstone Street, you'll actually see the leftover set dressings for the first season of St. Dennis Medical. Now, those brownstones across the park there have been home to some very famous TV and film characters, like Bruce Almighty. It was also the home of Mindy and the Mindy Project, and it was the home of Kevin McAllister's uncle in Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. The scene where Kevin McAllister is wreaking havoc and throwing bricks at the wet bandits was filmed right there in our brownstones. But this road that we're on right now is going to take us into the most famous part of our backlot. But to get there, we're actually going to need to get this tram moving up at 88 miles per hour. You might even need to travel through time. That's because we are now entering Courthouse Square, or you might know it better as the town of Hill Valley from Back to the Future. Now the double doors are open on our City Hall there, so if you look closely, you might be able to spot the original clock tower columns just inside. We had to cover up the clock tower front to this building after the release of Back to the Future because it was such a popular film that test audiences found it too recognizable in other films that were filmed here afterwards, and filmmakers no longer wanted to use it. So in order to make this set usable for other productions, once again, we built a new front on the building so it wouldn't be so easily spotted in future films. But as you can see through those double doors, the original clock tower does still stand just beyond the double doors. Now, Courthouse Square usually plays small towns like Hill Valley. It's also recently been home to Ted in the Ted TV series. It's also been in the film Gremlins and was used as one of the primary exterior locations for all of the seasons of The Ghost Whisperer, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt. But if you want to get some shots of your character walking down the street in a big city, specifically the Big Apple, you might come out here to New York Street. Now, I'm a born and raised California girl myself, but luckily for us, we do have a New York expert aboard the tram today. It's my co-host, Jimmy.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there. An old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. I'm walking here! Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
Now, as you look around the buildings on both sides of the trams, you might be able to spot quite a few visual tricks that we use here in our New York street. There's a lot of windows that you can see through, and if you look through them, you might actually see that there's really nothing on the other side. Most of these buildings are incomplete. That's because many of our sets, both in our metropolitan sets and on most sections of our backlot, are known as facades. That is a French word, and it means false front. What it means in the film industry is that we only build what the camera needs to see. So a lot of buildings, we only build the front and side walls, or in these cases, we build very shallow buildings, and we only build the very front entrance. Once your character walks through the front door, then we like to cut to a controlled environment, like our sound stages, so we don't complete most of the interiors of these buildings here. Now, we also use a technique called forced perspective to make these buildings look a little bit taller than they are. You might notice that the windows are a lot taller on the first floor than they are on the second floor. We do that all the way up so that we make these buildings look a little bit taller to the camera. But everyone, we are now going to leave the concrete jungle behind, and we're actually going to head into the real jungle, specifically the jungles of Skull Island. That's right, everyone, we're about to come face to face with King Kong.
Okay, King Kong. Are you excited, King Kong?
I like films that just take you away from Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. It was great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just put them in your hand and just get about to Skull Island.
That's right, everyone, and before we do, I would like to remind everyone to remain seated on the tram during the entire experience. Once again, I am unable to exit the tram inside of Skull Island, so hold on tightly to all of your valuables so they don't get sacrificed to King Kong.
We really put a lot of thought into the character and personality, and he's so much more than a monster. In fact, he's not a monster. He is an incredibly majestic, ancient creature. He's a force of nature. He's old, he's wise, he's proud, he's fierce, and obviously he has a heart. The most important feature with Kong are his eyes. Kong's eyes are wonderfully expressive. They're full of emotion. His eyes are like a window into his personality and his heart. He's had an enormous number of encounters with his foes, the T-Rexes and the various dinosaurs on Skull Island, so he's been beaten up, scarred, chewed up, spat out by these dinosaurs at various times, and he wears the scars of